Camp Wanahee, Part 5. Let's get straight into that. Hey guys, so it's good news / bad news time. Good news is that I'm still alive and we found the Traveller. Bad news is that there is currently a massive summoning of Malixodrak, and Camp Wanahee is surrounded by her demon children. All in all, I suppose things could be worse. I'm going to jump into what happened, and thankfully I brought a notebook to write down a quick log of what happened every day, so I'll be able to tell all of you. When we set off at midnight, the moon had just started to rise over the eastern mountains. We made our way to the lake to talk to Mira, the water spirit. The walk to the lake would have felt almost leisurely if it wasn't able to see that there were a lot of doors through the woods. As we approached the lake, Marcus got quiet. We asked if he was all right. "Yeah, I just can't go near the lake," Marcus replied. "Oh, I guess it will be hard to come round here," Maria said. "I'm sorry. We can meet you back at the camp and come and get you?" Marcus looked confused at that. "Oh, no, it's not the Ricky thing." He blushed slightly. I'm a virgin." Maria and I gave a collective "ooh," and Marcus nodded. "So, probably not best for me to go too close." "Wait, I know you mentioned that you just showed up here, so we knew nothing about you, but how have you gotten around not coming to the lake?" I asked. "I knew where you guys grow the weed, and so I told Jessica, and she always takes my shift there." Marcus gave an apologetic smile. I shrugged. "I don't care, but that explains why most of the counsellors have been damn near useless half the time." "Yeah, sorry about that," Marcus said. "Anyways, I'll catch up with you both after you talk to her. I'll be in eyesight though, don't worry." And feeling this was a good idea given the situation, Maria and I made our way to the edge of the lake. The lake is a couple of square miles in area, and we don't necessarily know how deep it goes. Several people have tried to measure it, but the findings were never conclusive. Surprisingly, the lake has remained clean and clear over the years, despite the high amounts of pollutants we've found here, even having nuclear waste dumped into it on more than one occasion. Well, no one really knows where that came from. There aren't any places that will produce that close by, that we are aware of. Regardless, whatever is thrown in there, Mira is incredibly effective at keeping it clean. The place is beautiful, which is no surprise when you met this single resident. We made our way to the pier. The wood is made from a aged silver grey and is a surprisingly sturdy structure given its age. The wood creaked lazily under my feet as I reached the end and called out, "Mira!" A dozen yards away, a head popped up out of the water, and with deep brown hair, alabaster skin. Mira smiled when she saw me. "Hey Carl, been a while." She had an accent that sounded very similar to Irish, but it wasn't. It was incredibly hard to explain, and I'm no expert when it comes to accents, but it felt off. Like someone who has spent a lot of time trying to nail down an accent, but missed the important small details. "Yeah, things have been busy back at camp," I said as I sat down at the edge. Mira swam effortlessly to the pier, and she made the smallest ripple in the glassy surface, the reflection of the stars and moon warping at its passing. Mira climbed up and sat next to me, and though her feet never left the water. She always had a lustful innocence to her actions and the way she looks at you with her jade-green eyes. She wears a white gown that clings to her skin, but is never translucent, only putting emphasis on her form. She's beautiful, is what I'm getting at. The kind of beautiful that gives you butterflies when you make eye contact. It still happens to me, even after all of these years, knowing her. Mira wrung out her hair. "Such a shame. I miss seeing everyone." She turned to Maria with a smile. "Hey there, what's your name?" I had completely forgotten that Maria was there until Mira acknowledged her. "It's Maria. She replied with more terseness than I'd ever seen her give anyone, even when the campers had finally crossed the threshold of her patience. "Well, it's nice to meet you, Maria," Mira said with a smile before turning to me. "So, Carl, what brings you to my lovely home? It's certainly not to let me get to know that strapping man you left back on the trail. You never let me have any fun." "Mira, the last person you had fun with has been in a mental institution for 6 years and can't be around water without becoming violently aroused, and the gal before him hasn't been seen again." "Ah, yes, Zach. Zach did very much enjoy our time together," Mira said with a fond smile. "He got too clingy, though. That's really why he's in the loony bin. Couldn't accept that things were over. Nothing to do with me there." "What about the girl?" Maria asked, a concerned curiosity in her voice. "Oh, I didn't do anything to her either. We had a lovely time. Her name was Trisha, and she was a real firecracker. We spent a week together, got to know each other on a level and even I am not completely familiar with. Talked about everything and, you know. Anyways, our conversations led her to some deep realizations about what she wanted to do with her life, and she decided to go to Italy and start her own vineyard there. Carl knows all about this." "Wait, so if you know where she is," Maria said, "why doesn't Carl believe you?" "Well, because last time she said her name was Tiffany and she went to South America to do archaeological digs that would change everything we know about human history," I said. "And no one can remember her name. Coot just wrote down that she went missing, and Mira won't tell anyone where she went." "Because then people would ruin what she's trying to do, Carl. And she's doing great things. Besides, I don't want to keep you up with too many thoughts about her, and if I did know who it was, it's for your protection, really." She winked. I rolled my eyes. Regardless, Marcus is staying far away from here because we have some questions to ask you." "Marcus, huh?" Mira looked with a raised eyebrow at Marcus, who was pacing back and forth on the trail. Side note, this has been a pain in the ass to keep straight. I'm glad I took a notebook with me because Mira and Maria have names just close enough to be confusing when writing. And then we have Marcus to add in a third name to start with a M. It's very annoying. He looks really sweet. Nothing like the drunk guys who come around here to go skinny dipping. And sure, there is usually a virgin or two among them, but I would like to meet a nice guy every now and then. Can't stand the whole dude/bro thing." "Hey, keep on track," I said. "Fine," Maria said with an exaggerated sigh, an eye roll of her own. "What questions do you have?" "Have you seen anything going on in the woods?" Maria asked. Mira's smile faded at this as she looked around the woods surrounding the lake. "Yeah, I have. Seen some weird things on the edge of the forest, but they don't come out of the trees. I just see them walking. Strange silhouettes that make awful noises. Nothing more than that, but it's happening a lot." "Have you seen them during the day as well?" I asked. "Yeah, I have. Mostly at night, but I've seen them during the day too. I've seen the faceless as well, during the day." "Yeah, we have too," Maria added. "Our 3 campers went missing earlier tonight as well. Have you seen them come this way?" I asked. Mira grew somber at this news and shook her head. "No, I'm sorry. I haven't seen them. I'll keep an extra close watch on my rivers for them." I sighed. "Okay, well, thanks for doing that. It would help a lot. Trying to keep them safe if they do come around you, if that's something you can do." "Of course. I always protect them when I can," Mira said. "Man, you guys are just absolute downers. What the hell is going on around here?" "You don't know?" Maria asked. Mira shook her head. "It's dangerous for me to leave the water, dear. Think of the fish, but I'm only capable of being out the water for maybe a minute before dying, and it's incredibly painful the entire time. I get all of my information from the campers, counselors, and Carl." "To answer your question," I said, Someone opened up one of the doors in the woods, and it wasn't anyone new, but we're pretty sure he's dead. Maria and I were able to close it again, but apparently that one door broke some seal placed on a demon plane. Now there were doors opening up all over the damn place. And Nola's ancestors told me that the world is gonna end. We need to find someone called the Traveler, since they supposedly know about the doors. Have you heard of her? Mira looked down into the water, her reflection framed by the stars. Yes, I have heard of someone referred to as the Traveler. I haven't seen her for a very long time, though. And I was only ever at her home once, when I was a child. She brought me and the other young children of my species through one of those doorways to escape our dying planet. That was 1,000 years ago, though. I haven't been back since, and I haven't seen her in at least a century. Maria and I shared a disheartened look. So, you have no idea how to get there? I asked dejectedly. I didn't say that. I was just stating some facts, Mira said. Really? A simple, I remember where she lives would be sufficed, Maria said in frustration. We're kind of fighting the clock here. You know, you're cute when you get mad. I bet Carl agrees, Mira said with a smile and a wink. Maria scoffed. You're getting off topic again, I said. Besides, Maria continued, time becomes irrelevant when you enter your second millennia, and no one has been in a couple of weeks, so I feel entitled to having my bit of fun now. Anyways, I have a vague memory of where she lived. It was up the mountain, east of camp, the one that used to have the old asylum. Go up the road to the asylum until you get to where the white boulder is, and go around it and follow the path that leads into the mountain, and you will find it at the end of that path. An old asylum? Are you joking? Maria said with a cynical chuckle. Of course there's an old abandoned asylum out here. Any other horror tropes you want to throw in? There's an old military base that's no longer used where they used to conduct weird experiments on the opposite side of the mountain to the south. And an old mine that was closed down after something weird was found in it. No one ever said what it was. That was back in 1905, though, I said, feeling surprisingly embarrassed over something that I had no control over. She scoffed and shook her head. Right, makes sense. You don't need to worry yourself with those, though, honey, Mira said as she smiled up at the night sky. Just the path that leads to the Traveler's home. Might be a little overgrown by now, but it shouldn't be too difficult for you all. Well, at least we have an idea of where to go. Thanks, Mira. Mira sat straight up with her eyes grown distant. Hey, is everything okay? She sat like that for a moment and then shivered. Something crossed through the river. It's one of the new things I've seen around the woods. Feeling it cross through my waters. She wrapped her arms around herself. It feels awful. Violating even. How far away is it? Maria asked. Not far. Maybe 2 miles, Mira replied. We should probably get moving, I said. Mira nodded as she looked at the two of us. Be quick and careful out there. Things are getting bad. Worse than they've ever been in a very long time. And if you get into a bind, you can try to make your way to the river where I might be able to help you all out. Thanks, Mira. Despite the somber mood, Mira gave a genuine smile and a wink. Anytime, handsome. It's nice to meet you, Maria. Come back another time if the world doesn't end. She blew a kiss at Marcus, who reacted as if he had just been slapped, stopping him mid-pace. Mira laughed as she slipped back into the water. The surface of the lake remained glassy except for that single ripple that bent and warped the night sky. Maria and I began making our way back to Marcus, who was looking around very confused. Can I request to not do any time at the lake if we survive all of this? Maria asked. Why? I asked. I don't really like Mira. She's not like Treeleg or John. She can and has hurt people. She's more like those things in the forest, if you ask me, Maria replied. All right, I guess that's fair, I said. When we got close to Marcus, he snapped out of his confused stupor caused by Mirror. He asked us how it all went. We informed him of the information Mirror had given us. We decided to cut through the forest and begin making our way to the Old Asylum's road. We walked until daybreak and decided to set up a tent and eat and get a few hours of sleep. Day 2. We woke up after 6 hours. Despite the day no longer being as safe as it used to be, we felt it was still safer than trying to sleep at night and being caught unaware. We had breakfast of protein bars, and I figured if we keep moving at a good rate, we'd reach the road to the Old Asylum by the next day. The three of us kept close as we travelled. Maria had the rifle that Enola had given Coot about a decade ago. Maria said it was a Remington 700. When I asked how she knew that so easily, she told us that her father would take her and her siblings hunting in Alaska every year. I had never been hunting and I know nothing about guns. All I had known was it was a big gun and had equally large rounds. These came from Enola as well. The bullets were made of silver and had been blessed by one of the tribe's elders. The rifle had carvings that ran the length of the gun, and from the stock and up along the barrel. I don't know if they are important, but I thought they looked cool. I gave Marcus a dagger. Labrador gave it to me one day, saying that it contained great powers of unmaking which you may find yourself in need of one day. I don't really know if I believe him. Honestly, I think Labrador might just be a crazy dude who lives out here in the woods pretending to be a wizard. Don't get me wrong, the dagger looks impressive, but it makes me think of the knives you can buy online that look cool, but will break if you try to actually use them. It didn't rattle when I shook it, and so it would hopefully be more useful than a katana bought at the mall. And the forest had been quieter than usual. No birds are around. We come across doors all the time. Most of them are made of that strange metal, and there is an oppressive feeling when you get near them. Sometimes we find one by itself, and sometimes we find groupings of them, 5 or 6 within a few 100 feet. We still see other random ones made of other materials, but it's usually the metal ones, and we avoid them as much as possible. It was around 5 in the evening when we heard something coming through the woods from behind us. We stopped to listen to which way it was going. It sounded large and it was moving fast in our direction. Both Marcus and Maria looked at me. "What do we do, Carl?" Marcus asked. I saw some bushes and motioned for them to climb in with me, as whatever was coming was hauling ass. Feeling we were adequately hidden, we risked a peek outside to see what was running our way. Large and lumbering, the creature I had seen fighting the Faceless came into sight. Mottled red and yellow skin, and one of its tentacle-like arms was gone now. A ragged tear near its shoulder dripped blood, the colour of 3-day-old gutter snow. Maria gasped and Marcus cursed. "Shit," I whispered. "I was hoping we wouldn't run into this." "What?" Maria asked as she pulled out the rifle. "You've seen this before?" "Yeah, it attacked the Faceless when I was crawling away from her. I distracted her enough to allow me to escape." "And you didn't think about telling us that?" Marcus asked incredulously. "Look, I've had a lot going on and I figured the Faceless will be able to kill it. Get off my back," I whispered back. The abomination was running frantically and then slowed. It appeared to notice something and then began to stalk forward slowly in our direction. It knows we're here," Maria whispered. "How?" Marcus asked, his knuckles white as he held the dagger. I could see the gem on the bottom of the hilt glow a deep red. "I have no idea. It's from some different dimension. It could smell our thoughts for all I know. But I know what a predator looks like when it's hunting down its prey. Also, it's coming this way," Maria said, surprisingly calm as she flicked the safety off. "I hope you killed the damn thing with your first shot," I whispered. "I don't think we can outrun it." If this went bad, if she didn't kill it, what were the options? There would be no way I could make it if I stuck with them. Maybe I could outrun them if I ditched my crutch and booked it. It might take them a second to react, but it would give me a head start. No, I thought. You can't leave them. Don't do it again. Maria said nothing, and Marcus and I waited. The moment seemed to stretch on as Maria took several deep breaths. On the third, she let it out slowly, and the quiet of the forest was shattered by the crack of the rifle. I saw the creature knocked back from the impact of the shot, a bloom of grey-brown blood erupting from its chest. Around the wound, the skin started to blacken. It howled so loudly that I could hear it over the ringing in my ears as it charged. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel the blood pulsing through me with each beat. I wanted to run. I wanted to escape. Don't do it. Don't be the monster you think you are. That she said you are. Maria chambered another round. The creature got closer, its arm flailing wildly. Another bang as silver ripped through the air, flashing in the sunlight. It went wide. Well, I should run now. It's all botched and someone needs to survive to help Wanahee. I know the most. Why shouldn't it be me? Oh, you're a coward, I thought. I hate how much it rang true. I thought I heard muffled voices, but I couldn't make them out as I watched that inevitable ending coming at me. Maria grabbed my arm and we ran, my crutch left behind. I snapped out of my stupor. It was just us. Where was Marcus? Did he run away? Did he do the wise thing and escape, just like I should have? Maybe that's what the voices were. Maria yelling at Marcus for running. I could hear the creature screaming. I could hear it charging at us. If he did, I could at least be happy knowing one of us might survive this. I ran, expecting to soon be greeted by a bony flail to the side of my skull. I felt welcoming anticipation at the possible relief. I heard another set of footsteps charging from behind. There was a shout and the creature screamed again. The colour around us all seemed to fade for a moment. And there was the sound of tumbling, flailing and unnatural screaming. I heard Marcus cry out and Maria pulled me to a stop. I turned to see Marcus on his knees next to the creature that had begun to turn a dull grey, which crept outward from a smouldering wound it had on its back. Marcus was holding his hand against his stomach, and blood was dripping from it. Maria ran over to him. I followed close behind, noticing the dagger on the ground next to the abomination. When I got to Marcus, Maria was examining his hand, which appeared to have a puncture wound on it. He gasped as Maria poked at it. "Guys, we gotta get moving," I said. "Those shots are gonna draw the other things here." "In a second," Maria said, not turning to look at me as she had Marcus move his fingers. "We don't have time for this. It doesn't look serious." "How the hell would you know? You told us that thing was new to here. He could have toxins in his blood, or, even more likely, he could have severed an artery in his hand." And she got out some of the moonshine we'd brought along to begin disinfecting. "Sure, if it was one of those, he wouldn't bleed out, but he would lose a lot of blood in the meantime. That could prove equally dangerous for all of us. So leave me alone while I do this." Who the hell did she think she was, thinking she could talk to me like that? I was trying to keep us alive. Or maybe I should just get my stuff and leave them. There are too many things that will make their way here. And this far away from the camp, there could maybe be other things we don't even know about. I couldn't hear very well due to the gunshots, and so I couldn't tell if anything was actually coming this way by sound. The trees obstructed my view, and so I was unable to see anything coming before it was too late. I considered just continuing on. If they were smart, they would follow. "Stop it," I said under my breath. It couldn't be an option. I wasn't going to do it. I picked up the knife, noticing the glow of the gemstone glowing a little brighter. It felt warm in my hand. Stranger than that was that there was no blood obscuring the dark metal of the dagger anywhere. It was spotless. The creature, however, had begun to disintegrate into grey dust, slowly falling apart as it continued to turn grey. I walked over to Marcus and Maria. I placed the dagger next to the two of them as Maria bandaged up Marcus's hand. I kept looking around at the trees, my ears still ringing. "You almost done?" I asked impatiently. "Yes, Carl, I am." Maria gave me a cold look. "Get your crutch. You shouldn't be on your foot." I was about to respond, but she turned away from me, talking to Marcus again. He gave me an apologetic look. I don't need this drama. I get why Coot always did stuff on his own. No guilt trips, no waiting on the others. None of this stuff that will get you killed. They're my friends, I thought. That had proven to be a weak excuse in the past, though. Why would it have more weight now? I grabbed Marcus and I's packs, along with my crutch from the bushes, as Maria finished putting away the first aid kit. "How's his hand?" I asked. "Oh, now you care?" Maria said. "I've been caring about none of us getting killed, Maria. And we could have looked at his hand later. It didn't look life-threatening." "I don't know if you really do. I think—" Marcus cut her off. "Whoa, Maria, Carl, calm down. Things are really intense right now, and we need to get the hell out of here," Marcus said. "Now's not the time to get into shit like this. Come on." And he shouldered his pack and began walking away. I felt shame. The kind that sits in the bottom of your stomach and in the back of your mind. When you are confronted by something you hate about yourself and can no longer deny the truth of it. I didn't care as much as I believed I did. And during that whole time, I was worrying about what I should do. We didn't play much of a part. When I had to depend on others, I was looking for a way to save myself, assuming they would let me down. Because I had done it before. If I would do that, I couldn't trust anyone, because anyone could do it too. I realized I am just a coward playing at being a hero. No one said any more than was necessary the rest of the night. The silence between us felt deafening. The rest of the day passed without much incident, and we eventually made camp at around 5 a.m. as the sky was just starting to lighten. Day 3. I woke up a few hours later to a scream from Maria. I shot bolt upright to see her scrambling away from Marcus and I, pressing herself against the tent, her eyes wild with fear. "Who are you?" she screamed. Her hand fell onto the rifle beside her sleeping bag, which she grabbed quickly and pointed it at me. "Where am I? What did you do to me?" My throat was instantly dry. I have very rarely been at gunpoint and I wouldn't recommend it. "Maria, it's me, Carl. I'm your friend, your co-worker." "I don't remember you. I have no idea who the hell either of you are." Marcus continued to snore. What the hell? How was he sleeping through this? I thought as I started nudging him hard with my foot to wake him up. It took a couple of tries. "What, dude?" a groggy Marcus said. I couldn't see him, but he seemed to figure out the reason for waking him up quick enough. Whoa, what's going on?" He sounded much more awake. Maria looked between the both of us. Her finger rested on the safety, which was thankfully still engaged. "You don't remember either of us?" I asked as calmly as I could manage. "No, I don't remember you. Did you kidnap me? Drug me at the bar? You and your buddy over there?" Maria moved her head towards Marcus. No, we wouldn't do that," I said. "We work at the camp, all three of us. Don't you remember?" "Maria, you've been here for months. You don't remember anything that's been happening?" Marcus asked. I heard Marcus begin to shift. I assumed to sit up. Maria moved the gun towards him, and I now saw the safety was off. "Don't you fucking move! I will blow you both away!" Her hands were shaking, but I didn't doubt that she would. "Okay, you're in charge here." My heart was racing. "If I may make one suggestion, can you please not be so loud?" "Why? Will I alert someone?" she asked, her voice getting noticeably louder. "No, you might alert something," Marcus said. Maria narrowed her eyes. "What the hell does that mean?" "We're at somewhere very dangerous, Maria. Somewhere that being loud would draw the attention of very dangerous things that they would kill us. All three of us," I said. "Yeah, like a faceless woman who has the desire to kill anything," Marcus added. "A faceless woman? It sounds like some stupid local campfire story." And she gave a derisive laugh. "What do you call this character?" "The Faceless," I said. And she began laughing again. "Oh, come on! That is the most unoriginal name I've ever heard. The Faceless." Maria's laughing continued, but it trailed off quickly as her expression became confused. "Wait. No, I've heard that before. She's pale, sickly looking. Long fingers. What?" "Maria, you've been at Camp Wanahee for a couple of months where we've had to protect ourselves and others from things like the Faceless," I said, keeping my voice calm. She was still pointing the gun at us, but seemed to have forgotten that fact. I really didn't want to do anything that might cause her to pull that trigger. "Camp Wanahee? I know that name. Why do I know that name?" Maria asked in a whisper. Her eyes widened in horror as she appeared to recognize Marcus and I. "Carl? Marcus? Oh my God!" Maria let go of the gun. "You remember us?" Marcus asked. Maria nodded as she looked at the rifle and where it had fallen in her lap. She looked horrified as she moved it off of her and left the tent in a hurry. I heard her run a short distance away and thought I heard her vomiting. Of course, something like this would happen, I thought to myself as I got up to follow after her. "Hey Marcus, I'm going to have you stay here to look after the rifle, just in case whatever she just went through happens again." "Yeah," he said with a nod, his voice shaking slightly. "Sounds good. I'd rather not have someone else point a gun at me today." "Same," I said as I left the tent. I saw her leaning against the boulder a short distance away. Maria was staring at the ground, tears running down her face, and I approached slowly. "Maria, are you okay? What the hell happened?" "I'm sorry, Carl," she said between sniffles. It's okay. You didn't shoot either of us. We're okay. Are you okay, though?" Maria was fidgeting with her hands. She took a shaky breath. "I think I'm starting to forget." Oh boy. This was easily in the top 3 of bad things I didn't want to have happen. I had never taken anyone with me this far away from Wanahee. I figured that forgetting didn't happen until you were out of the forest. And that's what Coot hypothesized, at the least. "Towards the end of yesterday, after fighting that monster, I kept forgetting where I was going or what I was doing. I remembered who you both were, but not where I was," Maria said. "This morning, I couldn't remember anything. I found myself in a tent with 2 guys I didn't know. I didn't remember how I got here or anything like that. I figured the both of you had drugged me or something and taken me somewhere to, well..." And she trailed off. I felt mentally numb. This made everything so much more dangerous. How many days before she forgot everything? And could we send her back before she forgot again and became lost? Do I send her and Marcus back and just hope that I can pull this off on my own? Will we still be close enough to get the memories to come back at all? Would it start happening more often? What if she forgets and decides to run off while Marcus and I slept, not remembering the dangers of the woods, and came across something that she didn't understand? This was very, very bad. It'll be okay. I gave her a hopefully reassuring smile. We aren't far from the mountain. If we hurry, we might be able to find the traveller's home today. Maria sniffed and wiped her eyes as she nodded. Yeah, let's get started then. Grab yourself something to eat. I turned to walk away but stopped when I felt her grab my hand. Maria seemed to be searching my eyes, diving within my soul, trying to find something. I'm not sure if she found it. I'm sorry, Carl, she whispered. I'd hoped I wouldn't forget when it was time for me to leave here, but I guess I'm going to be like everyone else. It's nothing to apologize for, Maria. It's not your fault, I said. She seemed confused by that. Yeah, of course. Maria let go of my hand and went back to her pack. She was shaking her head as she wiped her eyes. In truth, I wish I could forget too. I wish I could forget Wanahee, but I couldn't. I had been like Marcus. I went home at the end of my first summer and remembered everything. Couldn't function in society. Everyone else treated me like I had lost my mind. I couldn't stop the screaming, and everyone told me they'd never heard of Wanahee. That no one was looking for a girl named Ruby Harris. The rest of it I could deal with, but I couldn't handle that she was completely forgotten because of me. She existed only in my memory, and I didn't deserve that. It should have been her family. I decided I only belong at Wanahee. I belong here in the woods where monsters and demons exist. I returned after a month away, and Coot let me stay here, and he was surprisingly understanding. He decided to teach me everything. He felt that he could retire now since the burden had been passed to someone else, someone he and the owner felt was competent. I'd hoped it was going to be a place I could belong, where I could be with people who understood what was going on here. It ended up being that place, but the fact that they left after a few months and I was forgotten made things so much worse. As I have been going through the shit show that this past month has been, I've realized that Camp Wanahee is my prison. For whatever reason, be it a god or the multiverse, I was cursed to remember Wanahee. Now, I have to watch over this place to keep others from being killed so I could possibly make up for my past. I was starting to realize that I hated this. I hated Wanahee, and I was starting to hate myself more than usual. The thoughts of abandoning Marcus and Maria yesterday. I have been so close to doing it, so close to just running and leaving them to be taken by that creature while I got away. You're a monster like the rest of us, Ruby's accusation when I was running through the woods. I wish I could say I disagreed. I never thought I was, but after yesterday, I think she's right. What a mess I've gotten myself into, I thought to myself as I went to the tent to start packing things up. I told Marcus about what was happening with Maria, and he understood that we needed to get moving. And we covered a lot of ground. As we walked through the woods in the afternoon, Marcus mentioned how he felt like he was being watched. I told him we probably were. There were a lot of things in the forest that would likely be following us. We couldn't see or hear anything, and so decided to keep going. Once nighttime finally fell, we came to the foot of the mountain. We started making our way south, and within the hour we found what remained of the dirt road to the asylum. It was only discernible due to how flat it had remained, despite how overgrown it was with vegetation. And climbing the path was easier due to the lack of trees, but we felt horribly exposed as well. It was terribly unnerving. I figured at any moment we would hear the scream of something and see it charging up at us, and with no way to escape it. It made all of us uneasy, and we decided to move much faster up the switch-backing road. There were several occasions where we had to break the silence to talk to Maria. The memory loss was coming more often, and she would begin walking slower and then look around as if she had walked into a room and had forgotten why she went there. It was still relatively easy to bring back the memories, but it was beginning to worry Marcus and I. You think she'll be okay? Marcus whispered from behind me, quiet enough that I hope Maria didn't hear. I don't know. She seems to be okay most of the time. We just have to hope that it stays that way. We're too far away to think she will get her memory back if we send her back now. She'd get lost and likely die, I said, feeling the weight of that fact. I just hope she can hold on. I think it will turn out all right, he replied. I didn't say anything to that. After about the fourth switchback, we got a view over the forest and could see Camp Wanahee. The forest around it seemed to be glowing in a faint orange light. I had no way of knowing what that was, but I had an idea. It meant that Wanahee was surrounded by a lot of stuff that the three of us had no way of dealing with. And turning around now was no longer an option for any of us. We each knew it, but we didn't say anything, and we continued on our climb. At around 4 a.m, we made our way around to the south face of the mountain, the switchbacks finally getting to the point where we could see the decaying form of the Old Asylum. Not only could we see that, but we also saw the white boulder. We considered our options. There were still several switchbacks to go before we arrived at the boulder, and who knew how much longer to go after that. Should we try and sleep now? Marcus asked. It depends. I looked to Maria. How are you feeling? I've had some moments where I've forgotten what we were doing, but so far I've only forgotten who you guys were once, which passed really quick, she said. But I felt similar yesterday. It was only after I went to sleep that things got how they were earlier. Okay, so we probably shouldn't sleep right now, I said. Could explored a lot of stuff around Wanahee, but he rarely came out this way because of how far away it is. There's possibly things here we don't even know about that can be very dangerous. I don't want to risk her losing her memory when we are so close to an answer. Do you think we can go without sleep until we find something? Marcus asked Maria. Yeah, I'm tired, but I can keep going, she said with a confident smile. As we approached our destination, we noticed that the boulder was impressively large. It leaned against a wall of rock perhaps 40 feet tall, and where the next switchback was, the road came out further from the mountain here, the workers deciding it would be easier to build around the boulder rather than try to remove it. We made our way to the far side of it and found about a 2-foot crack between the boulder and the wall. It looked like it was a dead end after about 8 feet where the boulder and the mountain met. Marcus volunteered to go in and check it out regardless. He slid in and began to shimmy his way through. Oh man, there's actually a way into the mountain, Marcus said excitedly. It took a right that we couldn't see from the angle we were at. Marcus told us it was safe to go in. I followed first, with Maria behind me. The area Marcus had come to was a decently sized cave with a surprisingly narrow opening. We turned on our flashlights and began making our way forward. Do you think anyone would have ever found this place if Mira hadn't told us? Marcus asked. Since it hadn't been discovered as far as we know when the asylum was being used regularly, I doubt it. No one comes up this way anymore aside from the occasional ghost hunting show. There would be no reason for anyone to look, I said, appreciating the surprisingly smooth floor and how much easier it made it for me to get around with my crutch. While the air was stagnant, and compared to the currently sparse sounds of the forest outside, this place, it was deathly quiet. Each step sounded deafening by comparison. The tunnel curved up gently, and when it leveled out again, we found ourselves faced with trees. The leaves were a dull charcoal grey and the trunks an ashy silver. They even managed to lightly reflect some of the light from our flashlights, and the three of us just stopped and stared at this. Carl? Maria whispered. I have no idea, Maria. I have never seen anything like this. We began looking around with our flashlights. The ceiling curved gently above us and levelled out at well over 50 feet, but the trees obscured most of the view, making it impossible to tell if it raised or lowered. The walls continued out from where we were to either side, and our lights couldn't see a curve to them, nor could we see an adjoining wall. "This place is absolutely massive," I said as I began to slowly move into the trees. Something here felt very wrong. Not the usual wrong either. Well, there was something about this place that was persuasively and oppressively wrong. And I heard the other two begin to follow me. We had only made our way in a few yards when we heard an all too familiar, muffled scream reverberated from somewhere within the cave. All three of us stopped immediately. "No, that can't be right. This couldn't be happening. It was a shared delusion or something." And then we heard it again, raising that flimsy doubt. "Oh, of course," I thought. "Even at the end of the world, that bitch will be where we need to go." Shit. I'm sorry to cut things there. I think something is happening outside. The defenses around Wanahee have been really stressed. The sky has also turned a new shade of crimson that makes my fingernails itch. And so things can't be going great. I need to go. I'll update soon. Hopefully. Wow. And another one. Wow. Absolutely chest-pounding, spellbinding story there by the wonderful Wanahee. Wonderful writing, and I really do look forward to more of your work. Guys and girls, you know the drill. As ever, please do let us know what you thought down below in the comments box. Please do like and share. It really does help build the channel and our community further. And why not hashtag TeamFEAR and DMT's Cryptid crew. Of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, smash the subscribe button, and why not throat punch the notification bell to stay up to date with all DMT Forest of Fear community posts and content. As always, I hope you're all doing well and keeping fit and focused. But above all, remember, be safe, not sorry.